We back.
I wasn't ready.
Um, whatever, you're fine. Putting on the lipstick. Today we're gonna do a pop culture roundup because there's been a lot of things that happen in pop culture. And we're gonna probably do a bold opinion and a bad decision, but also maybe skew around and dabble in some other pop culture. My I'm gonna start with bold opinion. Do you want to start with yours on
No.
Benny?
Oh, yeah. I'm a huge fan.
You love Benny Blanco.
I
So
mean, after watching their interview,
wait, you got to
like,
back. What happened? There was an
okay,
interview. Who's the interview
so
between?
the interview with Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco and Jay Shetty, where they sit down, they just kind of like talk about how they met, how they got to their relationship. And I was watching it and I was like, this isn't to me, in my opinion, that he's a very mature man. Like his emotional maturity, like I really, really prided him in that and like
What did
everything he
you,
was saying.
well, what did
And
you think was mature about it?
I feel like just the way that he like spoke about her and like how he's very conscious of like her needs and how she like what she like brings to the table he valued, but in the same sense she felt so safe that she could also let all of her guards down to give him that same respect and appreciate what he brought to the table. And that's to me is what I think is such a healthy relationship. And I think that's because that's what I never really had was that mutual respect. So to see something like that and how just like sweet, kind, and caring he is, and then her being able to just let all of her walls down and like allow that presence to like kind of like like wrap his arms around her in a way, like his emotional arms, and like they can just like understand each other and the trust that's there and the respect. Like I was just really, really impressed. Like I thought he made such great points in the interview, and he was like, when you're dating someone, you're not just dating them, you're dating them in all of their past relationships, whether that's men they've dated, relationships with their family, relationships with their friends, because that's really getting like the depths of someone. I realized then because I used to always be like, why is she with him? Like he's not the cutest thing in the world. Not that looks are everything, but also I just was always kind of like, like superficially, I was like, why is this girl with him? Like Selena Gomez is beautiful. And now that I like saw him and I saw like a different side of him, I was like, I get it. And he's super funny. Like I don't know. I fell in love with them. I was like, I think I was sending them to you over and over again. I'm
For
like, oh
sure.
my God,
Sure.
post, repost, repost.
Okay, we get it. You like him.
It
Okay.
reminded me a lot of that show, the Adam Brody, Kristen Bell show, which I
Which
was obsessed with.
right, and I hate it.
The way that they spoke with each other. You know what I mean? Like it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, that's why we have different types in men. Um,
Yeah.
bold opinion. I hated. What is it? Nobody wants this. Nobody likes.
You
What
didn't
is it
like
called?
that show, did
What
you?
was it called?
Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants this. Yeah, I hated that show. I thought it was stupid. And I also don't like Benny Blanco. I bold opinion, I'm allowed to have mine. I think that those men coddle women. I think they gaslight women. I think that the way that they act around women infantilizes them and acts made it seem like Selena Gomez couldn't be the I didn't see him building her up as a bright independent woman. I saw him
Yeah, I saw that opposite. I saw that he did.
different perspectives, different childhoods,
Yeah.
different experiences. Yeah. So like for me, it was the same and nobody wants this, that she was this strong, independent woman and he kept on wanting her to be like soft. And I was like, why do you need to change her strong independentness? Why can't you be proud of that? And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I felt like, and maybe from your perspective, they allowed the women to be soft. And it was the first time the women were able to be soft because they felt safe. But I
Yes.
also wanted them to feel like worthy in their independence. And I wanted that to be put on a pedestal as well as a woman who is fairly independent. That's my devil's advocate.
I see your take on that, but I think that that is what they're doing. Like I'm going to give another example. Madison LaCroix was
Mhm.
always masculine energy. She is a boss bitch. She'll tell you how it is. Like she's intimidating to some men. But she says when she met Brett took the lead and he allowed her to let that go a little bit because she trusted him enough that he could lead and she didn't
Right.
have to do all that. And she's still strong and independent. But with him, she's able to be soft and more of in the female role. And that's probably our differences a little bit because I do appreciate that. And I see them and same with the show and all of
I
that. Mhm.
appreciate it, but I think it's a difference in our past relationships. I think in the
That
past,
makes
your
sense.
in your past relationship, you were not allowed to be taken care of. You didn't have a man that led, right? In my
Right.
past relationship, I had a man who dimmed my light. So we
That
had
makes
different
sense.
perspectives based on our past relationships. And for me, I would never want a man like if like for example, when people tell me, "Oh, you're never going to find a man who wants to date you because you do TikTok." It's like, "No, I want to be with a guy who loves my TikTok and loves that about me because it's a part of me, right?
Yeah.
And I want it to be shown a light on." And I also don't really ascribe to the feminine masculine thing because frankly, I've never had the opportunity to be quote unquote in my feminine. And so like and I also think that love sells. And I think a lot of people's bold opinion. I think that the two biggest money makers in life are weight loss and love. And people will tell you anything to get you to buy something regarding weight loss or love. And everyone will buy something regarding weight loss or love because everybody wants those two things. And so like I don't know if you saw all the recent research on love languages that love languages were like invented by this like man effectively
Gary
trying to
Chapman.
yeah, but like effectively trying to get women to be like more sexual in the bedroom by like
Oh,
coining yeah, like coining it as sorry, my dog's drinking a shit ton of water. Coining it as men's love language is physical touch and making women feel like more obligated to be more sexual because that's what men wanted instead of just being like men are horny. They like package it in a nice pretty bow as a love language, right? I think the feminine and masculine thing, like I understand biologically where it comes from, but I
mhm.
also do think a lot of people sell you this idea that like you have to be in your feminine energy to get a husband or like whatever. And it's like maybe, maybe not. Who the fuck knows? It just feels like a lot of self-help talk or love relationship talk or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have I feel completely different about all of that compared, but also I'm gonna clock
Well,
this day. What
but
is
you
it?
can tell me
What
how you feel.
what day is it? It's the 28th of March.
Mhm.
How far along are you in your relationship right now?
1, 2, 3 months.
We're 3 months in where Eve is, in a relationship. So we're gonna ask her a year from now. I want to clock this.
Okay.
Where she is feeling about this situation as her if she's with Glenn and they end up, progressing and getting closer and growing more intimately, even emotionally, if she still feels the same way about allowing her guard down, feeling
Oh,
safe, and
for
all of
sure. No,
that.
I mean, for sure, I should let my guard down more. Like, I don't disagree with that. I just think that, like, I don't like being told that I need to be in my feminine energy in order to be in a partnership.
Oh, I'll agree with you on that. Yeah,
And
it's like a
you don't have to
constant
agree with
it's like
anything.
it's constantly, like, put out there, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
Like,
like it's like this push, and it's like, well, fuck. Like to the point of what we were talking about the last time is it's like if you want me to be in my feminine energy so much, then why the hell am I having to pay 50% of everything? Why the hell am I like nobody's paying my rent, you know? And so I just think it's like, unfortunately, I'm not saying I like it or don't like it, but I think it's unfortunately an outdated viewpoint for what's actively happening in society right now. Like I can't be in my feminine energy. I literally can't because that would require me to sit at home, twiddle my thumbs on the couch, and like wait for someone to take care of me.
right, but I think feminine energy is not necessarily the man providing like for you like 24/7. It's a more of a being like a little bit softer and a little bit more accepting of allowing the man to take the lead instead of us always being like, no, no, I can do it. I can do it. I got this. Like I'm
Right.
going to do it, or feeling the need to do it. And I think there, it's not so much like black or white in the sense of like if you're in your feminine, then you're sitting at home cooking, you're not
Right.
making any money, all of that. But I think emotionally, you know, that's where I think in the differences that we have, I feel like they were lifting them up and supporting them,
Sure.
in a way that it allowed them to be 100% themselves, and their lights weren't getting dimmed because that person supported them so much, and they were their biggest cheerleader and advocate, whether that was that show or the Benny
Yeah,
Block with Selena. And she was like, I can finally just be me. Like, I'm not having to be his girlfriend or this singer Justin's
right,
girlfriend, or
right, right.
she's her and he loves her. And I think that's what I take from it.
What I
Just like
interesting,
how I think, like, kind of in a way, like you were mentioning about your TikTok, like the fact that Glenn wants to make a TikTok,
it's
that says
hilarious.
a lot, Eve. Like, that's a great example right there of a man taking something that is important to you and 100% supporting you and being like, I want to be involved. I want my own. Help me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
how cool. Like,
it's
that's
cute,
sweet.
it's well, so I was listening to a podcast recently. The one that I sent you, the New Truth podcast, which I really like, and they were
Yeah.
talking about how, like, going back to the feminine and masculine thing, and then we can get off this topic because we kind of like side turned here. But they were talking about how literally physically the woman's vagina is meant to receive, right? And that's what truly feminine energy is receiving, right? Not giving, not chasing, not like, you know what I mean? But just literally very physically and graphically, it sucks the dick in. They were saying that, right? And so, like, no, I'm not even kidding you. Like, if you put a dick there, it will literally like suck it. Like, it has a suctioning capacity. That's a little graphic. Whereas the man outwardly projects and outwardly whatever. And I think that is, I get that. I think I'm just triggered by the word feminine energy because I think it's used so much on
So
social
much.
media
Yeah.
in a way that feels very
You have to
forced.
change something about yourself in order.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I don't like I think people get hung up the same way people get hung up on like love bombing and gaslighting and these like trigger words. I think that's what my issue is. It's the word choice. Okay, moving forward. Next pop culture bad decision, bold opinion. Well, bold opinion, Machine Gun Kelly and who by the way, do you know Machine Gun Kelly's real name is Colson, which is my last name? Fun fact. Uh
No.
yeah, who knew? Because so Megan Fox went on Call Her Daddy,
Yeah.
which fascinating interview you should
I
listen
did
to.
see some of it. I did
Yeah,
see some of this, yeah.
absolutely fascinating. So basically, I didn't know she had a severe eating disorder. She was hospitalized twice for a severe eating disorder. She's always been tiny, but I didn't know she'd like been hospitalized for it for months. Um, and she met her first husband, Brian Green, I think that's his name, when she
Yeah,
was 18.
90210. Yeah.
Yeah, she met him when she was 18 and they got married when she was like 21 and then they had 3 kids, right? She met Machine Gun Kelly 3 weeks after they ended things.
Oh,
So
wow.
she's not been single since she was 18. And yeah, part of her interview which I found fascinating was she is super super into like mysticism and like holistic stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah,
I
she is.
Yeah, which I knew, but I didn't know that like the extent to which she thinks she's lived like 9 lives. She thinks this is her last life. She says she saw a picture of Machine Gun Kelly and looked him in the eye, like before even meeting him and knew he was her twin flame. Like real gnarly stuff, right? Um, what was one of the other things she said? Oh, this is wild. So she was talking about all of the surgeries she's had, and she said before she goes into surgery, she talks to every single doctor and nurse, anesthesiologist, or whatever who's going to be in the room, and they have to like sign that they've not seen an owl in the past 24 hours, not gotten in a fight with their spouse, not seen or killed any animal, like including like an ant or a frog or whatever. Yeah. So they're in like the best energy for surgery. I'm
And
not
she
even kidding.
hasn't been in, like, a psych hospital? Like,
She was 5150 at one point.
I
Yeah.
mean, I can see why.
She's also sober. Fun fact. So like and with Machine Gun Kelly, just I so many questions. And then she was talking about how she was like, I'm not really like she's talking about how she one of the quotes that was really funny is the caller daddy woman was talking about how or what's her Alex Cooper was
That's
talking
super.
about how like everyone made a big deal about how Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox like swapped blood. Like they both
Yeah.
licked each other's blood, right? And they made a big deal about it. And she was like, I don't understand how that's any different. You guys go home and take cum in your mouth from some random stranger you met at the bar. And I was like, you know what, Megan? You got a point. Like, I got a point. She was like, I think that's absolutely disgusting. You don't know where that guy's dick's been. You don't know what his sperm tastes like. You're ingesting his bodily fluids and you met him 5 hours earlier and I'm licking the blood of my soulmate. And I was like, okay, fair. Then
She made a couple of good one-liners on that podcast.
she did. So I guess I find it so odd that with someone who is so holistic and I don't want to say witchy, that's the wrong word, but very much into like inner peace and this whole experience that she's with someone like Machine Gun Kelly, who is an addict, who does a shit ton of drugs, who's got abuse problems, who's fucking psychotic in a lot of ways. She wrote a book of poems that got published this year, and she writes all these poems about like him putting his hands on her and stuff.
Oh.
And
But do you think it's like the toxicity that she likes? You know what I mean? It's like that. It's like her
yeah,
own
she
issues.
even says that. She's like, I don't want a boring relationship. And I just find it's like, I don't know. I think it's a bad decision to be with someone because they excite you. I guess that's where I'm coming from this.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I just like the interview was very interesting to me because I felt like she was so grounded in so many ways and she works so hard on her piece and she like reads all about it. But then I'm like, you're
But then
literally,
she doesn't really have peace. So it's like, what is she chasing to fulfill that emptiness that she still needs all of that toxicity or that, excitement in her life if she's so at peace with herself? You know what I mean? Like
and also like,
bunch
why
of
have you only been
bullshit.
single for 3 weeks since you were
Right.
18?
Like, does she even know who she is without a
Well,
partner? Probably not.
yeah, no, and she was talking about how everyone talks about her being this like sex appeal character or whatever, this like etc. You should listen to the whole interview. It's very fascinating. I found that I liked her a lot more before I listened to the interview. When I listened to the interview, I found like I did not like her. I
Oh,
found her to be
just
very
weird.
well, it wasn't even that. It was like she was almost like she thought she was better.
Oh, a
Like
little like high and mighty. Okay.
yeah, it was almost
Like
like she thought she was
arrogant.
better. Like she would like she one of the Alex Cooper said, "What would you say?" Because there was like at the end there was like an advice portion, and she's like, "What would you say to a girl who was upset that a guy had ghosted her?" And she literally goes, "I wouldn't be friends with that kind of girl."
Okay.
And I was like,
Wait, what else did she say too about men? I remember we were talking about this.
"Oh yeah," she
Made that
said
one comment.
she was talking about like basically they were talking about like guys and like what kind of guy what was the commentary? It was
Something
like
about we don't need them. It was something
yeah, but
about
I forget what the question was. I don't remember what the question was, but the response was her basically being like, "No man's dick is good enough for me to like choose them. Like I would never choose a man. Like I would never be with a man because it we weren't she was effectively saying that like being single is fine because there's no man's dick good enough to like whatever." And I'm like, says the woman who's been in a relationship since she was 18.
right. And the one that has gotten back together with a guy that I guess puts his hands on you and now you just bared his child. So
Well, no,
that
they're not back together right now. That's the other weird thing.
so
They're
she
like
just
technically
is having
it,
his baby.
yeah, well, she found out she was pregnant and then broke up with him after because she like found something in his phone. It's a whole convoluted mess. And
I'll
I
take a look at this.
what?
I'll have to take a look at this.
Literally, it's a whole convoluted mess. And she like wouldn't talk about it on the podcast. She was like, I don't really want to discuss our relationship. She was like, I don't want to discuss the status of it, but he is my twin flame. And I was like, what the fuck is a twin flame? I don't know, but I don't want one.
No, me either. Not if it's going to be like that.
Oh, it sounds
Slow
horrible.
I'll take the slow burn of the twin flame.
Really, like I don't know what that is. Moving forward, can we talk Kim Kardashian paying for her engagement ring to Chris Humphries?
Yeah. And like didn't he end up like wanting it back or like requesting it back and like that he got the money for it or something?
So I don't know how. I'm curious how the initial discussion went down, right?
That guy
But
was literally with her for her name. Like
72 days, 72 days.
he was not in love with her.
No, of course not. And she knew that. Also, her wedding dress for that wedding was atrocious. But so he apparently she bought the ring. He contributed 150,000, I think, or a fifth of it. I can't remember if it was 150,000 or a fifth, whatever. He contributed about 20% of the cost.
Yeah.
And then when they got divorced 72 days later, he wouldn't divorce her unless she gave him the ring. First of all, you don't have to give back the ring in
No.
California. Second
Did
of
he
all, you
win
certainly
that?
what?
Did he win?
No, she just gave it
Well,
back to him. He
oh,
wouldn't
she
sign the divorce papers. Yeah, she just gave it back to him. He wouldn't sign the divorce papers until she did it, and she wanted it to be done. She could have contested it, but she didn't. So technically, she didn't have to give it back in the beginning. Second of all, she certainly doesn't have to give it back if she paid for the fucking thing. But I want to know how the conversation went, where she was like, okay, are you going to propose? Cool. This is the ring I want. Oh, you can't afford that? Cool. Here's $1 million to buy it.
that's
What?
weird. Yeah.
So
No. No, yeah. I'm 100,050% very bad decision on her. And you should not be marrying a man that you have to try and coax on what ring and this and that you want to buy. Like you can show him.
okay, devil's advocate. Your man doesn't have a job. He loves you. The ring you want is way more than he can afford. Obviously, Kim Kardashian has money. You can pay for it and get to wear the ring you want. And he loves you. Assuming they don't get divorced and it's not the Chris Humphreys, clout chasing men. It's like a good one. Would you pay for part of the ring?
I don't know. I'd have to think
I'm a
about
hard no. I'll tell you why. I'm a hard no. And it's what I said to my ex fiance when he bought the ring on my credit card. A, don't finance a ring because
it.
for me, the reason I want a nice ring, I mean, I like nice jewelry, obviously, but the reason I want a nice ring is because I want to know that you had to make a sacrifice, that you had to take time to think about this decision, that you had to save money, that you had to make sacrifices in other areas of your life to put money into this so that you're actually making a conscious choice to have a future with me.
I
And
like
that is
that. I
like
like
that
that.
is what it's not that I need a nice ring. It's if the guy's a billionaire, I want to know that you had to set aside money, you had to take money out of your stock,
Right.
whatever.
You took time because you knew that it was important, maybe to you or me or whoever, that you wanted to provide that for me as a token or as a commitment to you asking me to be a part of your life.
But
Yeah.
also that you wanted to show me I'm not making this decision flippantly.
Right.
I'm not going to buy something that I can just walk into the store and buy today.
Right.
I'm going to buy something that I have to
It
think
took
about, that I
time
have
to
to
think about it and plan.
yeah, that I have to plan for, that I have to, you know, budget for, right? Like that's what I want. And
Yeah.
whatever that is, whatever that cost, I don't know what that's going to cost for my future husband, but whatever that is, that's what I want. I want the ring that he had to think about.
Yeah. So how does that play in if they have like a family diamond?
I don't want a family diamond. I don't I
You wouldn't want a family diamond.
I don't want a family diamond. I don't want his mom's ring. I don't want his grandmother's ring. I For me, it's so personal. Jewelry's so personal to me. And I think I'm a little woo woo. And I think those stones hold stories from that relationship. And I don't want those stories, whether good or bad. They're their stories. They're not mine.
Yeah. I could see that.
I want our story. You know what I mean? Like, I really, I don't want. Now, if he took that ring slash diamond and made me jewelry out of it, would I wear it? Sure.
Right. Maybe take it and wear and make like a necklace or earrings or something. Yeah.
Sure. But as an engagement ring, I want it to be symbolic of our journey.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's very special.
That's
I
that's like I would say out of all the things involved in a wedding, that's the most important thing to me. More important than the wedding, more important than the engagement, more important than the honeymoon, more important than whatever else. It's that is so symbolic to me for some reason. And probably again, because everything comes back to your past, because my ex bought an engagement ring day of on my credit card.
Whereas I think like, and for me, I'd probably be happy with like a lab grown diamond the next time around. You know what I'm saying? And some women would not, but I've had the GIA ring before and
I'm not opposed to lab grown. It's not that. It's just more so that I also want a bespoke ring. I want him to go in and design it. I do not want something he could just buy.
everybody could just go get.
Correct. That's, yeah, I'm fucking finicky about my ring. When I get ready to get married, like that's what I'm going to be bridezilla about.
Yeah, there will be a list.
There will be a list. Here's the index card. Don't fuck it up. Like everything else, like that's what I'll be bridezilla about.
That's where hopefully like that your person, I mean, most men are going to take you to look at rings, right? And like you're going to kind of decide together and give different options, and then they know what you like, and they're going to create it or get it. You know what I mean? Like most men, I feel like would do that.
One would hope. Okay, wait. What was the other thing I wanted to bring up? Hold on. I had it here at the tip of my tongue. At the tip of my tongue.
Have you been seeing all that thing on TikTok though about Hailey Bieber and like
Oh, the
she's getting
7-part
sued?
series?
So I guess
Do you
she's getting
believe it?
sued, or she's suing the person that made that because of like defamation of
Defamation.
character. Yeah.
It's
And
his opinion.
it's his opinion though. Like, and he just put it together. So I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. But like, if you look at like that girl's crazy. Like,
Well, do you believe it all to be the way he like panned
I
it
don't
out?
know. I mean, you know me. I can watch a documentary about the moon landing and be convinced that it didn't happen or did happen. Like, so like I'm easily convinced a little bit in that sense.
I also don't understand if we're being really honest here. If I had the power to marry whoever and my dad was going to set it up, I'm not picking Justin Bieber.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're
Like I
picking the
think
guy.
it's more like an obsession. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you're picking the 5 foot like 10 man with addiction problems who used to like throw eggs on people's houses, who like was raised by Usher, like and no longer sings and now does like Christian concerts, but
It's
doesn't.
he looks like he's
That's
spiraling. You
not
know
who
what
I'm picking, you know? Oh my God, did you see the memes online about Jonathan Taylor Thompson? Remember
I mean? Oh,
from
yes. And oh, he looks terrible.
Terrible.
Posters we used to have of him like in our rooms.
Oh my
Like,
God.
you know who I saw on Raya, speaking of that generation?
Who?
Andrew Keegan.
Who's that?
Joey Donner from 10 Things I Hate About You. The like douchey guy that plays Joey Donner in that movie,
Yeah.
or he's in Camp Nowhere. Remember Camp Nowhere?
Yeah. 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 Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
oh wow. Apparently he owns like a church in Venice. Did you know
How
this?
old is he?
He's like in his 40s, like for early
Okay.
40s. But I guess
Okay.
he bought some church in Venice, and it's like over there near like off of like Rose Avenue. I've seen it before. Someone showed it to me, and it's
Yeah.
like this blue church, and that's like Andrew Keegan's. That he like I don't really know what type of church it is, but I don't know.
That's
It looks a
bizarre.
little hippy dippy spiritual. Who knows?
Okay. Ruby Frankie. Do you know the documentary I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I started it, but I haven't like dove into it. I mean
It is
that's been
amazing.
it's good.
It's amazing. So the short version is she posted this YouTube, like, I don't know, a decade ago or whatever, when she had 4 kids. And it's like a gender reveal for her 5th or 6th kid, right? And it blows up because her kids are really cute. They're all like blonde, all American little kids. She lives in Utah. She's Mormon. And she starts getting addicted to the fame and the likes that she's getting from these videos. And she starts simultaneously getting like backlash on parenting. Like, you know, how people comment on shit and say whatever they say.
Yeah.
And she starts taking it to heart and she becomes this like cult parent. Anyways,
She's like abusing her kids. She's like hog tying them in closets and stuff, right?
well, yeah, but she also turns lesbian and kicks her husband out. And then like, it gets wild. Like, it's
It's
just
like the modern day, like John and Kate plus eight. Do you remember how mean that woman was? Like,
I never saw the episodes. I just saw the tabloids, but oh God, yeah, it's that. It's that, which, oh, by the way, if you watch the interviews, the tell-alls from her like oldest son who like emancipated himself or whatever.
crazy.
Also, Southern Charm reunion last night. You haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet. I need to
Okay.
because I've been seeing some clips, and I don't love that the whole like Paige and Craig breakup is going kind of nasty. Like I thought they were going to be amicable, and it's just going to like move right along. And I
You
guess
know, I
now,
think it went nasty. I think it went nasty because I think after they broke up, Bravo went back and re-edited Southern Charm and Summer House to showcase all the disagreements.
yeah,
Like if you haven't noticed, the past like 5 episodes have basically been all they're like where they're not seeing eye to eye, right?
yeah,
Which I
yeah,
feel like we didn't see at all last year. And I'm sure there are happy clips that they could have shown, but they re-edited it. This is my theory. They re-edited it to show that because of the breakup. And I think that has spiraled the two of them out of control because everyone's looking at Craig being like, how the fuck did you not know if this was going on? Whereas he's going, you don't see all the conversations we had off camera where she was asking for a ring, yada
Or,
yada.
like,
Like, we didn't see any of
about
that,
getting
right?
engaged at, like, BravoCon, like, wait,
Yeah,
what, were you
right.
planning your
So
engagement page? Like,
he's sitting here being like, you didn't see all these conversations. All you're seeing is this edited version. Paige, meanwhile, is sitting here being like, look, it wasn't this picture perfect relationship, as you can see, right? So I see both sides. I do think it's wild that he's already in another relationship.
I think it's wild too. I was actually looking that chick up on Instagram today, and I was, like, seeing if they're, like, following each other and stuff,
Yeah,
like, if she was, like, in the audience of the
right.
reunion, but it's also, like, is that a bad decision that she's making? Like, how ready is he for an actual serious relationship, quote,
Well, she's
unquote?
young. She's
How many
young.
weeks has it been?
I mean, it's been 12 weeks since they went public with it.
Okay, so 12 weeks after a 3-year relationship, and he bought a ring for this woman? You're the rebound.
Well, yeah, but she knows that. But I mean, if you look at her Instagram, she's trying to be an influencer and
I thought
she's,
she pretty much already was. Like, I thought she was, like, a pretty decent influencer. So
I
she's
mean,
probably
she's
just
got like,
dating him for, like, the name of it.
yeah, exactly. She's got like
Yeah.
70,000 followers. Not that that's anything to sneeze at, but I'm just saying, like, she's not like got 500,000. Like, she's,
Okay, you're right. Let's be the pot calling the kettle black. If Greg Conover asked me on a date and he had just got, I'd probably go too.
yeah, you're going. You know what I mean? Like,
Let me be honest. I'd be like, yeah, sure. When am I moving to Charleston?
right, like you're going on the date. So, like, yeah, I mean, I don't think and that was my point about her being young is like, she's not like 38 being like, oh, fuck. I think she's like 27 or something.
Okay, yeah. So
And
she's just
probably,
fun.
yeah. And honestly, he probably is too. I mean, he might get himself stuck again, but he jumps from relationship to relationship. Um,
There's like a lot of rumors swirling that like him and Natalie were like, or Natalie, shit, Naomi were gonna like give it a
oh, we're gonna get back together.
go.
Yeah.
Be interesting. Wouldn't that be a season 11 plot twist that we all need?
I've always thought Naomi was beautiful, but she
I
did
know.
him dirty. She
Dirty.
did him so dirty. And then Matul did her so dirty. Like,
Yeah. That was
the irony that his name is Matul.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Exactly.
Matul. Never really liked you. What was I about to say about that? Oh, JT and Vanita. You
JT.
thought JT's a little cute. And
I think JT is like cute until he opens his weasel mouth, and then I think he looks like a weasel, and I hate the way he dresses. Like that is the epitome of I don't and you know me, I like a man that's polished and dressed, but that is like
it's too
preppy to
much.
a core. It is too much for me. Ew, 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 ew. Take your little
You know what?
whale, Saxon, White Lotus look and shoot, you know?
Shoot off. You know what I don't like? I can get back to JT and Vanita. I don't like that they didn't have Miss Pat or sorry, Patricia or Whitney on the first episode of the reunion. They apparently don't come till the second episode. And you know why I think it is? The two of them are executive producers on the show. The two of them get to see all the edits. They didn't want to be grilled on night one. So they like get to pick and choose when they come in. I don't like that they're producers on the show. It pisses me off.
Who's the new guy, Ryan? And like where has he been? You know the new guy that's been on the show this season?
Rodrigo?
No, not Rodrigo. Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, where did he come from? And let me just I just want to point out to everyone, if
Wait,
you ever want to
you
know what,
took over my producer comment.
I'm sorry, shiny man doll with Botox. If you ever want to see it, go look at Ryan on TV. Like his face
Yeah,
doesn't move. He just
no,
glows. He's like a glazed
yeah,
donut. Anyway,
yeah.
I digress.
No, but do you not think that that's weird that they didn't go on the reunion? I just don't like that they're producers because then they get like more ability to edit shit over, for
Well,
example.
you have to think about who it is, right? Like, I'm sure Miss Pat probably is very, very particular about what gets put out and
Yeah,
what she
and
gets.
but that's what I don't like is
Right.
that it's supposed to be reality television. Austin doesn't get to sit there and be like, "Oh, that wasn't very flattering of you to put
Right.
on
Of
me."
her social status of wherever she is and probably with the money and history that all comes with it, I'm sure that's probably what has to do with it. Not that's right, but and
But
then
that's my
Whitney
problem.
needs to go anyway. You want to talk about a creepy man that's too old. He
Well,
needs to
right, but he's still doing this is what I don't like is Whitney's still on the show and an executive producer, so he's getting the money from it, but he's not getting embarrassed. Whereas they are.
right.
Basically, Miss Pat and Whitney are using the other cast members' shit show for their monetary gain. And I don't like that.
Because as a producer, I'm guessing they're probably raking in more, right?
Correct. They're raking in residuals. They're also getting editing privileges, I'm assuming. I don't like that. Like they're getting to puppet string from behind the back. And I also think that, like, I'm sorry, I know a lot of rich, wealthy people from the South. Miss Pat, no one's fucking heard of her before Southern Charm. Sorry.
True. Yeah,
Who
that
are
is
you?
true.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, no, okay, I don't know.
I
Like,
don't care.
you're rich and you wear Kafkins. Cool. So does like 70% of the rich women of the South. Like, no one knows who the fuck you are. I'm sorry. So, like, get off your high horse and stop also throwing dinner parties for all the men.
Right?
Like, what is about that?
Also, like that show is so fake and like formulated. Like none of that shit even goes on in Charleston. Like,
Oh,
it's so fake. Like I mean, I can tell a story. I should try to find the clip of when I think it was like season 5 when I was down living down there and was on it. And I was at Warehouse, which is now Craig and Austin's new restaurant that used to be called Warehouse. Me and my friends were there one night and they're like, "Oh, we're filming tonight. You gotta sign off." My friend's like, "New chef, blah, blah, blah." They roll in. They roll in like one by one and act like, oh, they're just like slowly showing up to this random bar. And
right.
then they like the way they like spun it and like edit everything, it's all fake. Like all of it.
Well, all reality shows are like
Annoying.
that.
All of it are
No,
like, but
all reality shows are
it
like that.
doesn't
But
mean
my issue is
that's
the
not
way
how
that they
it
portray
is.
the South.
Oh.
What? All reality shows are like that. Like, that's nothing new. That doesn't surprise me. I just, the way they portray the South is not real. And
Right.
I find that to be like very like, okay, cool, you're setting us back 10 years.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It is
no
very
7-year-old
exaggerated.
woman is hosting a dinner party with 5 guys. Like, no. Who, what?
As much as we hate that it's exaggerated, I also love it. Like I still watch it.
That's why people watch it for sure. So I
Yeah.
need
But
to
I
not.
do think it's like just by the way, we have to make sure we edit that out because I totally just flashed the camera.
Well, you didn't, it was just under boob, but you can
Okay.
edit it.
I was like, I did not mean to do that. But remind me of that before this. Anyway, that might make our things go up higher actually.
It went, you didn't flash anything bad. I would have, you know. So it was just a little under boob. I don't
But
have any.
I don't know. And I think that's what's so like disappointing sometimes is like if people do go visit Charleston, like it's not like how you see on the show. You know what I mean? It
We're
actually
not
looks a
there.
little trashy and gross now, which I hate that about that city, that it's lost its charm a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
It's becoming like a New Orleans like look
right,
to it. It's kind of dirty, you know.
right.
But
Oh.
anyway. Well,
Anyways, anything else on pop
speaking of
culture we
being
need?
in the South and needing to like go partake, I probably should go downstairs and like hang out with my parents that I came 4,000 miles to see.
Yeah, anything else on pop culture we need to touch on before we end this?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Me neither. Have a good
Okay.
weekend. Tell Miss Helen hi.
I know. She said next time you got to come with me. So
I will. I will.
she'll get up early with you.